Hello, everybody. Glad to be here with you today. Glad to be back. Actually, 1 week today since I've had a live show with you guys, had a lot of interruptions and so on. But, guys, without further ado, we love to welcome Mags here, who's from the Borealis blockchain builders, great proponent of the original Bitcoin, the real Bitcoin. And, Mags, how you doing tonight?
I am great. Thanks, Max. How are you doing?
Not too shabby. Guys, if you appreciate content like this and also meeting an actual author, and she's going to share her book tonight, preview of that and so on, all we ask is that you smash the like. It does trigger the YouTube and X algorithm. And with that also said, we're going to start off with welcome you guys. You know how it goes. So let's start off with the first comment of the day. And we have the one and only, I think it's Tim Shea as usual, but let's see. It is. Tim Shea says, hey, glad to have you here. Mayor of Crypto Commissioner, represent the 589th District of the XRP Army, fellow constituents. Mr. Tim Shea, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Dennis Little's in the house, always providing great info, whether it's BSV and so on. Really appreciate you, sir. GG, I'm going to just give you a shout out. Thank you so much. We have about roughly 3 or 4 different visuals from GG in regards to BSV tonight. So I did see some of the DMs you sent me, sir. Those will get highlighted. Guys, they're not super long, but it will help with the outline of tonight's show. So thank you for that, GG. But Balaclava, man, he says, looking forward to this. Well, good. We always appreciate that. I'm just going to give, Mags a quick plug right quick to show you, if you do look forward to this, you should look also forward to her broadcast. And here it basically is. It's called Borealis Blockchain Builders. It's up on your screen as we speak. And I want you guys to take a moment to look at this. I'm actually full screen this as well. And so, yes, she's our special guest tonight. This is her channel. She's off to a new start with this and so on. But she has a lot of recent episodes. She had a live show, actually. It says Wednesday, May 29th. Episode 12, and she's got some other things here about, for example, if Trump wins, to heck with ETS, all sorts of content. Take a moment to actually introduce your channel to us for those who don't know about it, Mags.
Sure. Thanks for hosting me, Max. I really appreciate it. So, hi, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here. This is actually my first conversation sitting with someone here. I was mentioning to Max earlier that I've been following his channel for about 4 or 5 months, just lurking and learning, essentially. So thank you for all your shares, Max. You were amazing. So my channel is a new launch. It started, I guess, just here in May, and I have been really trying to have a vast outreach to the community. Bitcoin is such a big community, but BSV is like a little minnow. And I feel that people are overlooking the treasure, right? Because there's so much noise from BTC and XRP. And so I just want to bring my passion and my knowledge to those who may be totally clueless about BSV and kind of get that community and excitement going.
Absolutely. Glad to be here and display what you bring to the table, your channel, and so on. Just to also give you guys a heads up, if you want the URL, we're going to go ahead and drop it into the comments for you. You'll see it on the live show when this gets chopped up later on. You may see it like in the description. Here it is for all you guys on the live. Just came through. And on top of that, we're just going to welcome just a few more of you guys and so on. Let's see here. April Cornwell is in the house. She says, hey. Good to see you, April. Appreciate you being here. Wow, Crypto Winter. It's been a long time since we've seen you. Glad to have you here. Very old school guy of our community. Glad to see you, brother. I'm sure you got some good comments. and worth getting into. I guess I will read this real quick. Patent US 6829355B2 for the SHA-256 algorithm filed by the NSA on March 5th, 2001. Okay, interesting. All right, we're going to welcome Boomer F. Sooner, the one and only Boomer F. Sooner in the house. I'm just going to read just a few more comments, and then we're going to get back into our highlight of the night, which is BSV. That's the main topic. It is the topic of the night. Brittany, hey, Brittany, good to see you back. Always appreciate you. Kevin Kiesler, welcome back. Welcome back. Guys who are unwelcome, if this is your thing tonight, again, give Megs a follow. I know some of you guys may have the attitude like, well, I need to see what's presented, and that's fine too, but she's going to tell us a lot in a bit. BSV Stacker, welcome back, man. So appreciate to see some of you guys from BSV. Order 66, the one and only Dingy in the house, aka Dinu. Crypto Homes 777, and for the most part, I think if I skipped anybody, it was not on purpose, but we're going to get right into it. Let's start off. You guys know how the drill goes. We started off by creating markers, and tonight's marker will be in the top left of your screen. And when you see this, it means that we're starting the BSV segment. So with that also said, we are going to share this quick clip, get some feedback from Megs. You guys know who this guy is. I don't even have to introduce him. So shout out to the one and only Digital GG in the house. Recent interview, if you want to call it that, give or take. We do cite Bloomberg. Listen to this. From online gambling to crypto. Let's go ahead and share this. This is only 1 minute, and then we'll get Mag's take. Here we go.
What I am is a big proponent of regulation. I actually want regulation, and BSV, one of the reasons why I'm attracted to it is because it's actually been designed by Craig from scratch to be regulatory friendly. So in addition to massively scaling and being a stable platform following the internet model, so it's got stability enabling you to invest real application development on top of it, it also is designed to be regulatory friendly.
If BSV is successful as establishing itself as the, as you say, there only needs to be one, what happens to Bitcoin and all of the other variations that are splintered off?
Well, I think in the near term, Bitcoin, BTC can exist, but if BSV scales, continues to follow its scaling roadmap, there's just no need for any of the rest. So I think they will be absorbed into BSV.
So they won't lose all their value?
I think people will cross across, and I think everything will be absorbed into BSV, the dominant chain.
The dominant chain. The dominant chain. So your thoughts on that, Megs?
I totally agree with Calvin. I think he has got it right on this one. Interesting. So if people don't know, Calvin's background is in online gambling. Craig also had a background in casinos and security. So I find it interesting that that's such a match, right? Because they were envisioning kind of the same environments, right? Of course, with regulation tied in and all that as well. But in terms of BTC being absorbed by BSV, I have a slightly different idea of what may happen. So if I understand correctly, that these big players can decide at the end of the day which path they want to follow. So even though people might think it's going to be XRP all the way or BTC, they can at the end of the day say, sorry, folks, you're out of luck. We're flipping to BSV. And there's nothing you can do about that. That is their decision. And I think what will happen is exactly that scenario. And instead of getting fully absorbed, you're going to get it at a cut rate. So if you're a BTC holder and you're being taken over by BSV, you're not going to get 100%. Maybe you'll get 75. And if you don't decide to take it, maybe a month goes by and that 75% now becomes 50%. And you decide, well, should I just do it? Should I take that jump? And if you don't, then it's going to go down to 25%. So that's what I actually see happening. Call me crazy, but that's my hypothesis.
I think that's a great way of looking at it. You know, on our show, and maybe you tuned into it, Reggie Milton, there's some interviews with him talking about literally what you just mentioned, patents. And let's face it, Reggie Milton in the past, I mean, at one point, we understand his Veritasium background and so on, but he has pointed out that it's not necessarily about him being a fan of, like a lot of people stating that Satoshi Nakamoto, he might not even be on board with the whole notion that it's Craig Wright. To him, it doesn't even matter. But he did point out those patents, whether we like it or not, whether it's the mainstream opinion, where BSV, like you said, that flip, in which they could go with BSV. Because, let's face it, it's the true one that follows the white paper for an actual peer-to-peer cash system that will scale. You're not going to get it from, as my buddy would say, Michael Cornwell, the Pony Express of crypto, 4 to 7 TPS, right? I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
And this whole thing with SegWit and so on, I get it. People pointed out like that was the defining moment for BTC in the direction of where they're going. We can totally see that. The writing's on the wall. And as far as tokenomics, well, again, look at the supply and so on. So, I mean, everything matches up as far as sticking to that core of like, all right, scarcity and so on. Guys, let's face it, you can mine BSV. It's not like some big, surprise to everybody. So where do we take this thing to the next level is the bottom line. And that's the next part I want to kind of jump into for you guys tonight. So again, Digital G, GG, you killed it. You actually, we really welcome this. I know in the past, I think Dennis Lil, shout out to you, sir, Francisco Dennis Lil, you shared some things in regards to this as well. There's many of you in this community that share quite a bit in regards to Bitcoin, original Bitcoin. We need to start calling it. I agree with Michael Milton. I don't know if he's tuned in tonight. He has stated that, like, one thing to say BSV, but let's start calling it Bitcoin because it really, really, truly is. And it's not just, like some people point out, like, hey, we're part of a cult and stuff like that. You have to keep in mind, one has scalability, one follows the original Bitcoin white paper, and the other one simply does not. What one are you on board for? So, Mags, thank you for some of that intel. And let's jump into this part. This is not that long ago. This is actually May 16th. So, guys, this is the last day of the month. Let's pull this up. This one states, basically speaking, that BSVA network access rules, developing a new standard with Akbar Datu. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Butchering up. Sorry about that. But if you're wondering who exactly he is, okay, he's a professor at University of Surrey. He discusses BSV's newly published network access rules, NAR. Remember how I talked about NAR on a deep dive a while back? Now, guys, I'm not trying to make this a deep dive with Mags tonight. I want to respect her time as well. But the point is, this is only about 2.5 minutes. This is another thing that kind of flew under the radar because Datu assisted in drafting NAR, and he's the founder and CEO of D2LT, where he advises financial institutions. Think about how that sounds. Right? Again, understand there's a real tail narrative where a lot of people are like, oh, I don't see the price moving. It doesn't, how many times I've seen that? Emo Stellar, I don't see the price moving. We have got to get, not necessarily us as our community, but if you're new and tuned in, this is not me taking a jab at you. This is me explaining and sharing actual real content about retail narrative, institutional narrative. And that institutional narrative, time and time again, states things like this: financial institutions at the intersection of fintech. That should be your key takeaway, because it's how we take this to the next step. Let's go ahead and play this as well. This is 2.5 minutes. If BSV is your thing, original Bitcoin is your thing, smash that like, give a follow to the one and only Mags here of the Borealis Blockchain Builders on YouTube. You'd be glad you did so. Here we go. Let's discuss this, and then we'll get back into the comments here shortly.
What happens if technical issues occur? What happens if people don't abide by those rules? My name's Akpadatu. I am a computer scientist by background. That's taken me on a journey through digitization of financial contracts, through to digital assets, advising a number of institutions, regulators in those sorts of areas, and also sit on the Law Society's Technology and Law Committee, where I head up the subcommittee on digital assets and smart contracts. The NAR very much make the association a standout in terms of its approach, meaning that we have something that is stable, certain, and can deal with any behaviors that are outside of the spirit of the activities on a network. The network access rules are a way in which to provide certainty around the rules of operating, building on the white paper, and really being able to make sure people can ensure that others also play by the rules. And if they don't, they know exactly how they can make sure they are not disadvantaged from that. We've assisted at D2LT with the design and formulation of the network access rules. When you think about the network, you're thinking of, something that is able to finally provide a enterprise robust network. Building on some very good philosophical ideas, but really meaning that you can take it to something that is robust enough and scalable enough to operate where it needs to for investors and commercial applications. And that's really why we got involved with the NAR. The rules of any game are probably the most important thing. Decentralization with the right stewardship to guide it through. And one of the strong advantages is it reinforces, in the context of decentralization, the multilateral nexus between the nodes and people involved. So it actually reinforces the very heart of these networks.
Okay, so what I gathered from that, Megs, is blockchain becoming reality, obviously scalability and so on. Your thoughts in regards to a little bit of what he mentioned?
Well, here. I think it has to lay out the rules. So going back years now, I remember when digital content started to flow into the mass. And it was a really precarious time because rights, royalties, all these things had to be figured out. It's like the Wild West, right? Now, multiply that by 1 trillion with blockchain, right? That's what we're dealing with. It's no small feat here. And I was actually thinking about this today. I posted a video in the last couple of days regarding Team Satoshi, which I call them. So the face, of course, is Dr. Craig Wright. And he had this small group of men who were crafting this idea together, right? Now, think about the conversations that they had. Not only were egos involved, not only were protocols involved, not only was money involved, but they were dealing with an idea, not just like a movie idea, a concept. They were dealing with something that literally has changed the world. That is incredibly profound. We're not just talking about something, let's roll it out. This is something that in essence has changed everything for everyone. That is massive, and that is a massive responsibility. So navigating this terrain of we've got to figure out the rules, it's not an overnight process. It takes time. But I think with people like that involved, it's going to happen. It's just going to be a little bit of a lag. That's my fear, is that the technology is so fast that the law can't keep up with it. So there's going to be loopholes and lags, and that's expected, right?
You're absolutely 100% on that. There, it does take time. Things have to get built and so on. But you know, every single time I've seen this whole notion of, well, retail narrative says this, oh, the recent ruling in regards to the courts of the UK and so on say this. I don't want to get involved in that. And then literally, what do we also see when we dig more into it? Boom. Like we point out before, here's what IBM's actually doing. And they went all in. Okay. And last I checked, IBM doesn't want to choose a sinking ship. If they felt as though that this guy was quote unquote fake Toshi and so on, why would he be on board? And another thing I want to point out for everybody, and I know there's going to be some naysayers going to be like, yep, that's where it's at, Internet of Trust. Guys, I want to state this. These institutions may very well not even believe that Craig is who he is, but the point is focusing on the tech. That's where it's at for me. Shout out to Cool Cat Crypto. I don't know if he's here tonight, but I want to give a shout out to him because he always says, guys, we should focus on that tech. Because when you do focus on that tech, you'll realize this blows everything else out of the water. There is not scalability like this anywhere. Last report on Terranode, guys, with actual screenshots, videos, recordings, what do you want to call it? As we say in Gamerland, screenshots didn't happen, right? So yes, 9 million TPS. And what Megs basically mentioned earlier, remember how she just said trillions? I'll give a shout out to Satoshi. I haven't done a collaboration with him for quite a few months now, but the point is, he even educated me on the whole notion that BSV with scalability, you can do trillions of TPS in the future. Sounds crazy right now, but how is that? Well, it's like incredible block sizes and the speed behind that and so on. So we have entered into the realm of going from hundreds of thousands of TPS, which I think we reported on that last year. We weren't the only ones. And then this year with Terranode and so on, going to the millions. And we start out by saying, look, Terranode, 1 million TPS, and then reports of 3 million, and then last one, 9 million. It's just a matter of time before that's billions. And back to what Mags was saying, what about trillions? Mm-hmm. So with that said, guys, we're going to take a pause. Love that you guys are here. We can feel the energy. Okay. Positive, good vibes is where it's at. Let's kick it back to the comments. Let's see if you guys got anything in regards to the topic at hand. Let's see if you guys have any questions for a special guest, which is Megs of the Borealis Blockchain Builders channel. And so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see here. We have, for example, and let me just double check the other screen, make sure I didn't skip anything because I don't want to not recognize certain people. But yeah, let's read this from Crypto Winner. Badir, thank you, Badir. He says, love and respect, Max, as always, brother. Well, thanks. Hopefully Mags will earn your subscription. Guys, always support those that are in this space. I'll never forget when I first started this channel. I know I was with another guy for a while, right? For a year and a half, and about that. But this was my original channel, and this channel started in December 2021. And I never forget what it was like to first start out. Everybody has to start out somewhere. Mags is very passionate. You can see it, how she speaks. You enjoy more of this, and especially when it comes to original Bitcoin, BSV. You owe it to yourself to go to her channel. Again, always help our brothers and sisters and support them who bring it to you guys. SPL is in the house. Says, sup, hey, good to see you. You're wearing the baseball uniform and so on, right? Guys, who's your team? Who you rooting for? We're still very early into this baseball season. Go Diamondbacks, right? But never forget, if you're wondering what this is, it's not Filipino Ice Cube, as you guys point out. No. This is the Portland Diamond Project. Ever since I was a little kid, always dreamed of my hometown, Portland, Oregon, having Major League Baseball. Look more into it if you want. It's a real thing. So I'm one of the first guys with this hat. Anyway. Let's go further down. Let's see here. Tim Shays, welcome people to the moon, says XLM. Welcome. X marks the spot, says, all right, they're back on BSV. Just want to say hi. Hey, X. Glad to have you back. I don't on BSV. Good luck, guys. How about that JASMY, Max? Yes, I said to Mags, I said, JASMY's going to get mentioned today because it's doing really well. Guys, we'll get into some more JASMY later on. It is a feel-good moment. Don't think I haven't recognized that, especially when covering the whole thing on Apple before it happened, ISO before it happened. Yeah, But it ain't just about me. It's the community, a lot of great researchers in this space and so on. So thank you. Good to see you, X. I gotta welcome this guy. Beebs is in the house. Corey Beebe, good evening, future crypto millionaires. Thanks for being here, Corey Beebe. Welcome. River in the house. Good to see you, buddy. All right, so let's see here. I'm see if you guys have anything specifically you want to mention. Bala Clawla Man says, Mags, nice to meet you. Well, that's nice. All right. So let's see here. All right, let's read this. This is actual comment about BSV. I understand this is a BSV segment. However, JASMY, not the scam. Let's go. Well, that's cool. Thanks, Beebs. All right, we're going to get back to the topic at hand. It is BSV. We're going to now jump into this next part real quick. So really cool, obviously, to hear that in regards to, the one and only Akbar Datu, who's the professor at the University of Surrey. And guys, you can always watch some of the old deep dives. So go into this, the video section, excuse me. And I think it was maybe not last video or the one before that, elaborate a little bit more on the importance of NAR. No, not the Chronicles of Narnia or anything like that. NAR. But yes, guys, the point is financial institutions at the intersection of fintech and legal tech, I should include that, to achieve business optimization, regulatory compliance, and other efficiencies. Let's jump into the next topic at hand. That's part of our outline tonight. Again, shout out to Digital G. Really appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Here it is. And basically, we're now going to talk about nChain. Now, this is a few months back. I kept it zoom in where you can see the topic at hand, just in case you're boomer effing sooner with his dog Monica on the couch. nChain dominates blockchain patent race in Q4 2023 amidst an industry-wide slump. Okay. Now, again, I understand this is back in February, but the key thing I want to point out for you guys is when you do a wonderful Control F, and for all you guys who are in high school and college with your ebooks, Control F is going to be your best friend. Don't do the regular book. Go with the ebook, for crying out loud. You'll save yourself a ton of time. But look what it says here. Okay. This figure represents a slight decrease from the 114 applications filed in Q3 2023, but it puts nChain in global data's top spot. I was mentioning this with Megs behind the scenes before the show started, and it says, and well ahead of its second place Bank of America, which filed 39 applications in Q4. So, Megs, I mean, we talked about this for a little bit behind the scenes. To see nChain as number one, nChain that plug and connect to obviously original Bitcoin, and Bank of America placed in second place. I mean, this is huge. Your thoughts?
Oh, well, it's huge because it's even more than double. Like, who would have thunk, right? It's incredible.
Yeah, it's beyond incredible. I mean, I'm glad we have people in our community that are discussing things like this, but I mean, the report also highlighted some other things we want to point out real quick, guys. Talked about focus on the geographical landscape of blockchain patent filings. I mean, here at, Maximus Crypto, we're always talking about different patents. Obviously, it's not JASMY coverage tonight, but, I do this with JASMY, for instance. But original Bitcoin, BSV, I mean, this is really, really big to see some of this. China, UK also followed with 8% and 2% of the filings, respectively. Here's a statement from Robert Alizon. He is the chief IP officer at nChain. As you guys know, IPv6 really stands out when it comes to BSV. He said, quote, our main goal is to support entrepreneurs on the BSV blockchain in building profitable, and look at what it says, guys, enterprises. Again, enterprises. Back to the other example from Professor Datu, he mentions enterprises, right? So again, understanding that it's the reach, it's understanding the different platforms, but also this forthcoming licensing model. And it says that their approach in regards to nChain BSV not only signifies their commitment to nurturing the BSV community, but also ensures that all participants, regardless of the blockchain tech they employ, fulfill their obligations. I like this. By obtaining a license from nChain. You guys have always stated You want to see, right? Yeah, exactly. You want to see examples of, well, who's obligated? Are there mandates? Boom, there you go. I know you've been covering some of this stuff on your channel, Mags, and so on. I haven't been able to watch all your videos, but I do love what you've been bringing to the table with your research. I mean, when you see a highlight, obligations, and on a license from nChain, writing's on the wall.
That's it. And Max, like you, for me, the discovery wasn't about, oh my gosh, I can become a millionaire with this. My excitement, my initial eureka moment was, it's the technology. It's mind-blowing technology. It's changing the entire world. Whether you like it or not, it's here right now. And you need to jump aboard or you're going to get bulldozed. So for me, that was my ticket in, is figuring it out. And believe me, it has not been easy at all. Crypto, I think for the majority of people, is very foreign and intangible. They can't really wrap their head around it. You know what I mean? It's not a physical thing, so to speak. But the technology, that's it. You utilize that in ways that you don't even imagine. It's behind the scenes. It's the architecture, right? That's what gets me excited. And I'll shut up now.
Actually, I don't want you to shut up. Somebody at some point, especially when we chop this up, is going to say to me, and they do it every time. It's okay. I welcome it. And that is, Max, can you give a chance for your guest to speak more? So I'm always trying to encourage you. Don't shut up. Don't want you to shut up. We love having you here, Megs.
Okay.
Guys, come on. This lady's got a great personality. It speaks with a lot of enthusiasm and so on. So give her a follow. I did drop it into the comments. I'll do it again. And basically, it is this right here. Let's give you another quick plug. It is the Borealis blockchain builders. Let's see this scale up. We talk about scalability with BSV, do we not? Let's see Meg's channel scale up. I dropped it into the comments once again on the live. Let's help her get to at least 100. That's our goal tonight. Let's get her to 100. That'd be very cool. And speaking of 100, we are scaling up on the live feed. I see that on YouTube and X, we're on a combined 117. So pretty decent numbers for tonight. I know, there's a lot of other things that you guys are interested in tonight, but really do appreciate it. So what we're going to do now is simply jump back into the comments for just a brief moment. Let's see here. And I know you guys have some questions in regards to some other things. Maybe some community people can help you out. But anyway, I want to welcome you, sir. I know you just typed in 24, but hey, that's fine. Welcome. Glad to have you. GG, Digital G says, doesn't Megs have a book? We're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. I think I recall a video when she was educating people on BSV before they missed the rocket train. So see, people follow you. And they see that, you do have some kind of book coming out. Great segue. Let's go ahead and talk about your book if you're okay with that right now, Max.
Yeah, absolutely, Max. And thanks, Gigi. So as I said, this was a passion born of complete frustration. So last year in June, I turned 60. And as part of my kind of review, I decided I really wanted to get a hold of my financial life. And part of that had to be investments. And another part of that, and blockchain. So I opened an account thinking, well, I'll see what I can do here. And it was pretty, middle of the road. I didn't take any big chances. I was just starting to listen to some voices, watch some videos, yada, yada, yada. And as it turns out, I was doing nothing but following the crowd. Everyone was talking Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Okay, so I'll buy some Bitcoin. Ethereum, Ethereum, Ethereum. Okay, I'll buy some Ethereum. XRP, XRP, XRP. Buy some XRP. And pretty much they just did nothing but sit in my account, which was kind of flat, quite honestly. So as I started to do a little bit more research thinking, you know what? I've missed it. Like, I think the train is gone, and I have never been someone to follow the crowd. When people go right, I go left. I have been like that my entire life. So I started digging a little deeper. And lo and behold, videos, thank you, YouTube algorithm, started bringing up alternate voices. And as I started to listen to this, things started to click inside my mind. And I started putting pieces of the puzzle together. And I realized I was betting on the wrong horse. The horse I was betting on was a phantom horse. There's nothing to it. To me, the Bitcoin that has reached all-time highs, the forked fiat fake Bitcoin, is nothing. And I am better to take my money and put it into Pegasus, which is BSV. And that unlocked the box for me. And I started watching videos, reading articles, figuring this out, and finding one of the biggest scams that people have no idea has even occurred. Now, that's not surprising because I guess it's less than 7% of the world population who actually is in the crypto space. But honestly, I couldn't believe how many people were following this phantom horse. I just didn't get it because as an outsider, as a newbie, I could smell the bullshit. Why aren't these people smelling the bullshit too? So as it turns out, that's how I found BSV. And as I tried to educate myself, I realized that buying crypto is very different from buying a stock. You know, you can go on an exchange and get Palantir, no problem, right? And even XRP, you can get it on a regular little exchange, no problem. Finding BSV, good luck. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a computer scientist, but it helps if you are a computer scientist. I am completely, technically, and digitally challenged. I have no aptitude for that. So as I started to do this, I realized I have to actually educate myself on how to obtain BSV because it's not an easy process. And I kept looking and reading and writing, and finally it had occurred to me, I'm going to actually have to open up a notebook and I'm going to do a step-by-step process. And that's exactly what I did. That's how I actually figured out how to buy BSV, because there's no one who really tells you how to do that. And I thought, well, if other people are in the same position where they want to catch a winner, you're going to catch a tailwind, you're going to get on this rocket, which is BSV, you need to tell people, you got to preach it. And that's exactly what I did. I wrote down everything. And it's been months of trial and error. I have done, at this point, countless numbers of exchanges, of ways to purchase BSV, of failing, and the failings have taught me more than the wins, actually, that it has been nothing now but a complete joy to be able to deliver this ebook to people who are exactly in my position, pretty much ignorant about crypto, but want to get in on the action. And that's kind of it.
Thanks for sharing let's face it, your testimony with us,
Preach it.
Yeah, I mean, back in the days when I was a young kid, I went to my uncle's church and so on. He's a pastor, my Uncle Eli. And, towards the end, we always had a service in which you give your testimony. Well, you're giving your blockchain testimony. You're giving your journey to us. And we all have different examples about our journey. I mean, I loved how you shared, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and stuff like that. I mean, I'm into quite a few different ones myself. right? Diversified portfolio. But, my tail was, Dogecoin, and it was Shiba Inu and so on. And I'm still thankful that that happened. I have been continuously studying, where the real utility is at and so on. And I get it. Some people are upset. They stated it in the comments like, man, I should have invested into all these meme coins. Those are the ones that have taken off now. Guys, I get that. All right. Never financial advice ever. But, you're going to do what you got to do and do it. I'm not saying for you what you should or shouldn't do. But I will state this, and, I don't speak on behalf of Megs or anybody. At some point, we really do have to be prepared for what's coming, right? On the near horizon or years down the road. And, I'm one of those guys who was aware of BTC back in the day, and I passed up on that opportunity. Now, again, opportunity. And again, understanding the difference of the tech. Somebody could make the argument like, well, a person could have gotten to AOL years ago. Right. Look where that's actually at now. I'm not going to bet on the Pony Express of crypto. I'm going to bet on innovators. I'm going to bet on what these institutions, like we shown in the example, are doing. So, what we're going to do now is basically just get back into the comments for a brief moment. See if you guys have any questions, comments, and so on. We're special guest Mags. While we're getting back into the outline tonight, let's go ahead and still highlight our channel for you guys. There it is. It's Borealis Blockchain Builders. This is Mag's channel. Glad that she was able to talk about her book. Speaking of the book, before we get back more into the comments, any particular date in regards to the book, just in case anybody wants to look more into that?
Right. So it should be available as of tomorrow night, May 30th, 2024. It is an e-book, so it's a PDF file that you'll be purchasing. So I will link that in my channel information, and I can also flow that to you, Max.
Sounds good. All right, so there's our channel, Borealis Blockchain Builders. Again, I dropped it on the line for you guys as well. What we're going to do now is see here. We have a few people. GG says he's going to follow you, so thank you for that. We have River, another person that subbed. Hey, guys, this is what we're talking about. The support. Really glad to see it. Thank you. Crypto Winner. If you get Crypto Winner to sub to your channel, you're doing something right. He's one of those guys in which you got to earn it. And he says, "Got you, Mags." Thanks, Padir. Really appreciate that, sir. Let's read this. Speaking of, we were talking about, I guess a little bit of astrology back, right? So you're gonna turn 44 on June 20th. Man, I thought you and I were the same age, Padir. All right, so I'm 43. I just turned 43 on May 12th, but that's cool. All right, it's Gemini power. I'm a Taurus, but that works, right? All right, yeah, see, I was born to be a Taurus, to come at, the bull market, right? That's a bad pun, is it not? Anyway. All right, so let's see here. For a second, I thought you, Mags, were going to say you started hearing voices. That's a good comment. All right, Dennis Lil, Francisco, Dennis Lil, no monopolies. Right, exactly. All right, Ference. Hey, welcome back. He says, my man Max, I was still unsure of connecting my wallet for that flare drop. I hear nightmares of wallets getting hacked. What's good, Money Max? Yeah, you gotta make sure, especially when it comes to any of these airdrops. I mean, if you see a video, I would state this, and it's Brad Garlinghouse or Michael Saylor or who was it? The other guy from Solana. That's one of the latest ones. Guys, those are all AI. Follow what's actually going on with the mouth movement. Don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm glad that Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple addressed some of this and so on. YouTube/Google needs to do a better job when it comes to this. How about this? All right. I know that some of you guys are into VRA, Veracity, and so on. So this is kind of just a quick plug for them. We know that they want to create a mechanism when it comes to verifying real ads. All right. If they could ever get it down when it comes to verifying, who's the fake ones with AI and so on, I think that'd be game changer, because as we know, blockchain is all about verifying this, verifying that, this address goes to this, verifying, what's on the public ledger and so on. So if they could get that down, that'd be great, because I mean, it's sad. It's so sad to see this on YouTube, X, and so on. In that regard, it needs to stop. I know they're trying their best to change some things. Even when I upload content, and Mags, maybe you'll see this with your channel as well. It has a little thing on that big old huge grocery list. It'll say something like, is there anything in your content to display something fake or make a scene look unreal? And I noticed they added that because of all this nonsense of these guys creating all this fake stuff, trying to entice people for eardrops and so on. So,
and it's getting really good, Max. Like, that's the problem. It's sophisticated, right? So you got to be savvy enough to be able to spot it first. But yeah, a lot of people gonna get scammed.
Yeah, AI is getting better. She's right about that. So I mean, it's like, I imagine at some point it's going to be, a lot more spot on instead of looking like old, kung fu. You think I open a Chinese restaurant in the middle of the hood and don't know what's going on? I freaking represent. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yeah, it's like, what? They're going to eventually, I imagine AI is going to get it down. So it's just boom, 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 all in sync. And that is going to cause so many people to get wrecked. But hopefully with blockchain tech, we've also caught up to that to combat that. You know what I mean? And it'd be very interesting to see how a lot of these projects with generative AI take it to the next level for verifiability and verification, basically. So let's read this from Beebs. You guys got some good comments tonight. Appreciate it. He says, it's okay. We could read this. It's not about, BSV. We could read this. Max Hart and the Prime Minister announced Apple integrating JASMY into the iPhones in spring 2025 with Japan becoming crypto friendly. Exciting times ahead of JASMY. It is very exciting times, guys. I totally get it. I know that some of you guys probably wishing for a JASMY segment tonight. Guys, we got a special guest tonight. I'm not going to do that, but what I will tell you is this. I'll give you a little brief preview. So shout out to our brother Rob. I know he's streaming right now as we speak. He's been killing it with JASMY coverage all day. I will be joining him in the second, I guess you could say, appearance of a JASMY Roundtable tomorrow. I'll be a special guest over on his platform for the JASMY Roundtable. It's going to be me, Rob, and Jesse, KIR Finance. We're going to be talking about a lot of these things. Yes, it's a feel-good moment of talking about, Apple and JASMY months before it happened. I've had people recently, as of today, drop into the comments on these older videos, hey, this aged really well done with the research and so on. I'm not trying to get a pat on the back, but it does feel good. I mean, who doesn't want to feel good about standing by your research and seeing things pop off? Guys, it's a great moment, like even myself, my average DCA into JASMY was at 0.004, and we just hit a little over 3 cents today. I saw my portfolio and I was like, my God, JASMY is my top performer out of the top 60. And I'm way up, like 30, what was it, like almost 30 grand in profit. I just couldn't believe it. So, bull run, baby. Let's go. All right. So Dennis Lill's in the house. He says there will be various winners, no monopolies, tech matters, and it's only comes second to relationships. At least think differently than us. They do. Thank you for pointing that out. Just like in the examples we gave tonight. Mm-hmm. They want to pick up phone and talk to someone, diversify. Yep. Here's another sub to you. Balaclava Man gave you a sub. Sub Mags. Love the energy.
Thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do now is, I think we're going to get into a little bit more about what we have from this outline for PR Newswire. Let's jump back to that for a second. All right, let's pull this up. And if you're just tuning in, again, we're on the topic of BSV. Special guest is Mags of the Borealis Blockchain Builders. There's another thing I want to get into with this. Talks about, for example, nChain. As we do know, they are a heavyweight when it comes to that. And it says that they're a team dedicated to turning its vast IP library into workable applications. I love this statement because, like brothers like Cool Kaz pointed out, Max, you need to study this. I remember him telling me this 2 years ago. You got to get into why IPv6 is so big. I mean, technically our computers have support for IPv6, but which one of the Mexican take it to the next level. So I'm not going to try to put you on the spot, Mags, in this regard, but on your channel, have you covered anything in regards to IPv6? Are you familiar with it and so on? Okay.
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't covered anything yet.
No worries. It's just something that, we cover here. But guys, again, even if you don't know some of this, like, I'm new, it's above my head, it's, Greek. Your key takeaway should always be this, the simple stuff in layman's terms. As you guys know, I'm a former teacher. I love to teach, but even to kids, little kids, they can understand that when they bust out their phones, right? Am I going to have a workable application like it says? And most importantly, is it going to be user friendly? So this company recognized the LexisNexis Innovation Momentum 2023. It's a global top 100 report of companies, guys, listen to this, advancing innovative solutions to today's challenges, laying the IP foundations for further breakthroughs. But last year, Air Group announced an investment of up to CHF 500 million, which in interpretation to us in North America, and nChain comes to like 443 million pounds, I guess. Basically, including an IP licensing deal for Air Ventures portfolio companies. Okay, great, awesome. Back to the subject at hand. Obviously, we see, Mags, that there's a lot of money still being flowed into these innovations. Your thoughts on some of these innovations?
Yeah, well, that's where it's got to go, though, because if that's not funded, we can't create anything, right? And the whole concept of this is creation. It is nurturing and creating developers, community. That's what's going to grow it. That's where you got to throw the money. Otherwise, it's just going to be done, right? And how many times have we seen that? People pumping money into projects that go nowhere because they are unscalable. There's nothing to do. It's over. It's baked. So find good money, find good projects, and put in that research and development. That is money well spent.
Yeah, you like hearing the whole topic of money well spent. So many projects out there that are taking people's money, let's face it, and it's not well spent. It's going towards maybe some bad habits, going towards, the person's individual use. Where's the money really being allocated? Now, I get that, we can verify a lot of these things, but great points that you made. The other part I was going to get into, let's share this again. Here is a statement from Calvin Ayre. We showed him at the very beginning of the outline tonight. So here's another one. I'm going to full screen this one for you guys to see it just a little bit better. Talks about this quote from Calvin Ayre. Our commitment to nChain and its groundbreaking work in blockchain tech reflects our belief, you read that right, guys, in the transformative power of nChain's IP. Excited to support nChain and lead its way to the shaping of the infrastructure of this new internet. Now, boom. I want people to always understand that statement, the new internet. Even to this day, I was trying to, teach some of these kids. Like I did an after school thing just for the heck of it, because I couldn't shut up about talking about, blockchain DLT back when I was, teaching, was it last summer, and I can't keep up with on track with it. But I let these kids know, I said, guys, you got to keep in mind, study blockchain technology, understand like the bigger players. Are you aware that, we're entering into this thing called Web3? And when you mention Web3, it doesn't matter if it's a little kid, it doesn't matter if it's a high schooler, college, it doesn't matter if a person's in their 60s, 70s, and so on, right? Web3, they're like, huh? Like, I just thought it was just all, all the internet's the same. And then you get everybody a breakdown about, it comes in different stages. Kind of like, and I try to put in layman's terms, kind of like your video games. Like with me, I'm like, you guys obviously heard of Super Mario Brothers. They're like, oh yeah, of course. Who hasn't heard about that? I'm like, well, for me, that is like my Web 1. But it's not a web. It's understanding how that evolves, 8-bit to 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, these games that you can play in VR now, right? Like it's unbelievable. I said, now apply that to what is referred to as blockchain and that technology and so on. So, guys, the point is this: the new infrastructure, this new internet, this new next stage of that internet. I am so incredibly interesting to see where we go with this. And again, back to the IBM example, they are all in, when it comes to what BSV is doing here. So I don't want to dominate the conversation. If you want to chime in on that, you're welcome to. If you don't, that's cool too. But the infrastructure of the new internet.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Max. People don't understand the magnitude of what is happening. And that's understandable because, again, it's a very small percentage that are invested and participating in crypto and blockchain, right? So to the average person on the street, they're not going to be familiar with those terms. And again, that goes back to my book. I mentioned that quite a bit, trying to explain to people what this is all about, because it's that fundamental understanding that is going to onboard them. If they can't actually figure out what it's about and how it's going to directly affect them, they won't care, right? But when you say to them, your life can be better, things can be smoother, more secure, cheaper, faster, then that starts to get their attention. Then they start paying attention, right? So those who have ears to hear are going to hear it. Other ones are either just going to go along with the crowd, or they're going to get bulldozed, unfortunately. And I hate to say it, but I think the majority is going to get bulldozed, right? Knowledge is power. Empower yourself. That's what I'm trying to communicate to people. I want everyone empowered to your max so that nobody can tell you what to think or what to do with your money or where you have to live or what you got to do with your body. Do you know what I mean?
Great way of explaining it, yes.
You have a fundamental right to your freedom of speech and your freedom of being. People have forgotten that. They're very okay with just letting things happen. And I'm not okay with just letting things happen. I want to be able to be empowered. So I make my own decisions. And if you don't take control of your mind and your body, somebody else will. And the same goes for your finances.
This emojis would say 100, right? 100%. Absolutely. We are now going to jump into just a few more comments where we read the last part of the coverage. We're going to wrap things up here in a little bit. I want to respect the time of Mags. Again, guys, it's not WrestleMania, as you guys would say. Like, it's not WrestleMania, 4 or 5 hours. No. God, no. I also want to state this. I did check out the NBA scores just for a brief moment. My God. Third quarter, and Dallas is up like 35 points over Minnesota. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, so let's get into some of the comments. I did see a few familiar faces. But dear, I'm not trying to ignore this. I did get your DM in regards to this. I need to look more into it. I did, I could post it to you in the DM. I was like, interesting. But for the purposes of this outline, I don't want it to divert too much from that. Again, I want to respect Mag's time. We can get back into it. I won't, ignore it. Maybe on the next one, wrap our heads a little bit more around that. But thank you for that. Let's see here. Let's go further down. Craig Wright is Satoshi. Welcome. Craig Wright is Satoshi. Please, if you don't know who this is, I know you're a big BSV proponent. Obviously, you literally spell out your name. Check out Meg's channel. Yes, absolutely. Here's her channel, just in case you're wondering what it is. It's Borealis Blockchain Builders. And yeah, let's see here. Let's see. I want to refresh. Yeah, some of you guys did see. You're almost up to 70, so that's cool. Glad to see.
Great.
Yeah, that's that you guys are supporting her and so on. And then on top of that, we got Brian Dowie. Glad to see you, brother Brian. All right. Let's read this real quick. How to make a mint: the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. Lori Law, Susan Sabat, Jerry Salinas, National Security Agency Office of Information Security Research and Technology. I think that was back to what you were talking about in regards to the NSA and so on. Thank you for your findings. Yes, greetings to you. And what else we got? Stump Riders in the house. Good to see you. Brother Stump Rider, I don't know if you're into BSV, but check out Magus' channel. And again, Borealis Blockchain Builders is what it's called. I do agree. It's too bad that Cool Cat's not here tonight, but I'm sure he'll probably tune into the chopped up or the replay. Let's read this as well. Simon Greco. Hey, Simon. Good to see you, buddy. He says, hi, Max. Your show always smashing. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Join me. I know that you're, across the pond, as the saying goes, so I'll be a little bit earlier. I think tomorrow's collaboration with Rob, Crypto Future 99. Also, guys, give him a follow if you haven't done so already. I think it's at 2 Central, so 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Tune into that. Got a lot of research I'm going to get into and so on. There's also some research that I'm going to have exclusive, obviously, on this platform. Trust me, guys. I know there's a lot of things I need to address. ISO. JASMY became ISO compliant. So a lot of things, right? Apple and so on. But it ain't about that. It's about BSV today on our show. Crypto Winter, follow the link. Read the paper to learn who Satoshi Nakamoto is. All right, thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Craig Wright is Satoshi. He says we already know. All right. Much love, my guy. Yeah, thank you, guys. I do appreciate that. Let's get into the last part, and then after that, we'll give the closing thoughts and so on about the channel coverage tonight from Mags. So I just want to share this a little bit more with you guys and so on. This is in regards to a little bit more about nChain. We talked about, for example, technology, what institutions are doing and so on. So let's pull this up. And as you can see, my full screen is. It says nChain, leading global blockchain tech company offering software solutions. Think about that for a second, because we do talk about a lot about software solutions, even with other projects. But the point is consulting services, IP licensing, and looking into benefiting from not only transparency, but security. I like the idea about scalability. We're always talking about, for example, can it scale? And ironically, in Liechtenstein, right? Switzerland, the UK, Slovenia. If you weren't aware about it, nChain employs more than 260 staff, has a patent portfolio of over 39 patents and applications, which over 1090 have been granted. And this other statement, for all the newcomers, nChain is the developer of the Bitcoin SV node software, Terranode, Light Client, and more. And again, Terranode, that's your scalability. That's like back to what Mags was saying, to go to trillions. Mm-hmm. That's how we get to that. Because when we talk about this whole thing about the metaverse, guys, understand that I had to have the same user experience as Mags and vice versa. And all mm-hmm. you guys here, we cannot have issues of, oh, this is throttling. We didn't prepare for the what if moments. You want to know something? I remember back in the day, I know we talk about, video games and so on, World of Warcraft. How many times I spawned into World of Warcraft and boom, huge leg spike. My screen's frozen. Again, can you imagine if they would have had something like BSV's technology of scaling up to billions and trillions of TPS? So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. But before we wrap it up, Mags, it's been a pleasure having you here tonight. Just give some closing comments. Take as long as you want. I'm not rushing you off here. Okay. About your channel, show, the whole 9 yards.
Sure. So I think the greatest gift I can pay forward to people is go back in history. Going back and listening to interviews of people, pulling up articles, they're laying it all out for you back then, because they plan not 5 or 10 years in advance. They're thinking 25, 50 years in advance. That's how they have to plan this out. So by going back into articles like 3, 4, 5 years, you can find those nuggets of information that will lead you where you need to go. It'll lead you to the treasure chest, very simply. No worries about that. The other thing I want to say is I'm finding it incredibly disconcerting is the word I want to use, that time is short. And by that, I mean, I'm going to give out a prediction here, Max, for you and your audience, that I think by this summer, it's going to be roller coaster season, if you know what I mean. So strap yourself in. And by autumn and the winter of 2024, it's going to be fairly chaotic everywhere. So heads up. That's all I'll say.
Sounds good. And I'm glad to give you guys some of other people's perspectives. Obviously, Mags. I want to also give her a plug one more time for her channel. Here it is once again. Borealis Blockchain Builders. And you can go to YouTube and simply type this in and give her a follow. You know, she does these videos. She speaks passionately on all this. I did see that you do live streams on Wednesdays. Actually take a moment to discuss, you know, how you go about your live streams, what you're trying to focus on. Is there anything specific? Do you have something coming up maybe for next week?
Right. So my live streams are planned for every Wednesday night, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time. And essentially, I'm there to vet questions from people who are just entering the community for blockchain and crypto, specifically BSV, kind of like holding their hands, bringing them along, you know, because if I can do it in a live stream where I can give them a little more direction and nurturing, it may push them in a direction where they follow and listen to those true voices of BSV. But like I say, this year is going to be high volatility, high action, high stakes in crypto and elsewhere, but specifically crypto. And I think we all dig it. We know.
Like that old 80s movie, Can You Dig It, right? Anyway. All right, so let me I see a few extra people came in. Let's welcome OG Crypto. Good to see you. OG Crypto, Mr. Gangsta. All right, you know the drill. Glad to have you. Thanks, Crypto Winner Badir. We do appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah, OG, you know, Tim Shea is right. You know, you could go with Uphold. You can go like Exodus, just, you know, made it public. Remember, guys, we talked about this like a couple months ago that, you know, they originally dropped support and then they came back and said, hey, we support this again. So that's cool. You know, for me, I would go with that. I told people, you know, Exodus, but you got to go with, you know, what you want to. There's also, I believe it's Trezor / Exodus as well. So that's something to consider, you know, if you're wanting cold storage and so on. Back to what, you know, Mags was talking about towards the beginning of the show about, you know, it being hard to get and so on. Think about it, guys. I mean, you know, we talk about gems. Well, last we checked, even in the real physical form, you know, if you're going to go, you know, try to find diamonds in the rough and stuff like that, those are extremely hard to get. Well, they're making BSV even that much hard to get. But yeah, I hear you on that, man. I'm glad you're trying to set your goals. Apparently, Megs is given, you know, she wrote down step by step how to do some of this stuff. So that's a reason, OG, to go and follow her on her channel. And it's Borealis Blockchain Builders. And I know you just came in not too long ago. So I'm actually going to drop in the comments for you, sir, her channel. There it is for you, OG. All right. Crypto Winter says, happy birthday, Mags.
Thank you.
I didn't know it was your birthday. Is it really your birthday today?
Not today, but I'm a Gemini. Hello. And yes, it'll be in 2 weeks.
Well, happy birthday in advance. We'll have to remember that. All right. Kokak recommends Elipal. Okay. Awesome. So, guys, that's about it. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for this special broadcast of Maximus Crypto with special guest Mags from the Borealis blockchain builders and author's journey to find the true Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin. Give her a follow on her channel, Borealis Blockchain Builders. You can always check out a replay of the show. It will obviously be chopped up. You guys know how the format goes in regards to that. Might not necessarily be tonight, but it'll be on the radar here soon. With that also said, thank you so much to everybody tuned in tonight. Might not be the biggest numbers we had, but you know what? They're pretty darn decent numbers. We almost hit 200 on the live. So
Wow.
you guys rock. Glad to see that. And you appreciate live shows. Again, Mags has a live show. With that also said, you have the last word. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And I'd like to be able to say, consider you a friend. Thank you so much, Mags, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Max. And thanks, everybody. Hope to see you again.
Absolutely. Mags, if you don't mind, I'm going to close out the show for a second. If you got just a quick couple minutes, I'd like to talk to you for just a minute backstage. All right, guys, smash the like on the way out. We'll see you on the next one. Again, join me. I said tomorrow. I misquoted. It's actually Saturday with the JASMY Roundtable. Don't forget about it, right? Tune in for that. Rob, Jesse, and the rest of the crew. On behalf of myself and the Maximus Crypto community, Mags and so on, it's been a great show. We'll see you guys on the next one.